California is a condensed version of absolutely everything advanced economies get right and everything they get wrong. The general sentiment towards California's economy has been overwhelmingly negative, with endless stories about companies and people moving out of the state, a huge buildup of poverty, misguided and ineffective government programs, unaffordable housing, all exacerbated by high taxes, poor infrastructure, and growing environmental challenges. Add to this the significant uncertainty surrounding the state's global companies thanks to haphazard tariffs, and there are a lot of genuine concerns. The state's major industries are also highly mobile. So if it can't quickly and materially address these problems, there's no reason why Silicon Valley or Hollywood really needs to be in Silicon Valley or Hollywood. So far, a lot of what has kept industries in California is that their supporting industries are in California, and the thing that's kept the supporting industries in California is that the industries that they support are in California. This kind of industrial agglomeration can create a powerful feedback loop, but it works in the other direction as well. When businesses and talented individuals start leaving, there's less keeping the others in place. So with all of this going on, it's no surprise that the California economy has been under some serious scrutiny, but even still by the numbers, it's remained one of the largest and fastest growing economies in the world. Its per capita output is higher than all, but a few economic outliers that have significantly smaller populations overall, and most of those economic figures are technicalities rather than a true reflection of economic prosperity. That's pretty good for an economy supposedly on the verge of collapse. It's also important to recognize that for better or worse, California, by its very nature, attracts a lot of attention. And there are issues that go beyond purely economics that means that a lot of people like to shine a light on any problems and blow them out of proportion, but just because we want something to be true doesn't mean that it is. So is California's economy really entering a slow death spiral? Are there any ways to reverse these trends? And finally, is California actually in as big a trouble as the headlines would make out? All right, so quick pause from the economics content to talk about something I'm using right now. Most valuable industries and companies in the world. Obviously, the standouts are technology and entertainment, but it also has a large financial services sector. It's a shipping hub to the rest of the USA. It has world-famous educational institutions like Stanford, UC Berkeley, UCLA, and Caltech, and that's also made it popular with aerospace and defense companies looking to soak up some of that talent for themselves. On top of this all, it's one of the most complex and diverse agricultural centers in the USA, producing a lot of the more valuable crops that aren't just endless rows of corn. Then on top of these foundational industries, there are other industries that have grown off them like tourism and real estate that are helped by being a global center. So yeah, California has a diverse set of highly technical and valuable industries, which means even if one of them hits hard times, the others should theoretically make sure that there are still economic opportunities in the state, and largely that has been the case. Despite all of the doom and gloom, California has been growing comfortably without too many major interruptions for decades, now growing faster than the USA as a whole, which itself has been growing faster than any other major economy in the world with the exception of only China. Now, to be fair, California is kind of annoying what with their influences, tech bros, progressive policies, and overpriced grocery stores. It's almost understandable why people would get a bit of schadenfreude from seeing these smug world tanned active where enthusiasts be put in their place a little bit with their economy crumbling around them. That may genuinely be a factor in all of this. Realistically, California's biggest economic strength is its economic strength. Technology companies are started in California because that's where talented technicians and venture capitalists are. Those smart people and risk-seeking investors go to California because that's where technology companies are. It's just in California, taxes are particularly high on the highest income earners. Now, fortunately, California has a lot of high-income earners, and taxing the rich is something that most economies should be doing more of, but for California in particular, it has created some problems. This has always created a bit of a boom and bust in tax revenues because often the highest earners aren't making a consistent salary, but are instead getting money from cashing out stock options or running a successful business, and capital gains only occur when people make sales of assets, which typically occurs much more during good times. Now, this happens everywhere. Tax revenues are, all other things being equal, going to be lower, When less people are employed and businesses are making less money, but the amount of revenue that California has previously received from extreme incomes has made them particularly sensitive to these fluctuations. The other major problem with high incomes in California is that it's not always Californians generating it. A lot of attention has been paid to all of the people leaving California in recent years, but it's only become the most popular state in the U.S. because a lot of people move to it as well. It's a statistic so pronounced that it has its own mythos of people heading west to California to chase their dreams in show business or, more recently, to get a highly paid job in the world-leading companies out there. Skilled immigration has always been a big source of workers for these industries, but clearly that now has a less certain future as visa programs are scrutinized and foreign nationals become less certain about moving to the USA. Now, the big disclaimer here is that at this point, the actual impact of this is unknown. It's so new and changing so rapidly that data hasn't been collected for it, but overall, it certainly hasn't been positive. The same is true for the ultimate fate of the official avenues for immigration. Different factions within the government are fighting for and against the continuation of things like the H-1B program, which is the primary way that skilled foreigners can work legally for companies in the USA. Trade wars are another thing that will hit California disproportionately hard. The state is home to some of the biggest ports in the country, and it's the logical drop-off point for ships moving cargo from China. California also has the second highest rate of goods exports to the USA, only falling behind Texas, which exports a lot of oil and natural gas to Mexico. A trade war with China and Mexico could cut off this source of revenue, and that's not even the worst part. California exports a lot of goods, but it exports way more services. Already, as retaliation for trade wars, things like Hollywood movies have been banned in China, which is the largest movie market in the world now. Again, it's really too early to know the full impact, but other things like American smartphones, American social media, and American electric cars are going to be hurt by this either directly through reciprocal tariffs or indirectly through people not wanting to consume products or services from the U.S. This will hurt the U.S. as a whole, but California in particular. There's also the environmental threats. Most visibly seen with the recent wildfires, a lot of California homes are becoming uninsurable, potentially undermining one of the largest real estate markets in the country. Now, while cheaper homes might sound like a good thing, a lot of lenders require some home insurance before they'll give a mortgage on a house. So if these homes become uninsurable, it might only be all cash buyers that can afford them. Now, there's one last factor that is worth considering, even though it falls outside the realm of strictly economics, and that is that, yes, California has problems, but arguably those problems get a lot more attention than they would anywhere else because California, by its very nature, attracts a lot of attention. California has a lower poverty rate than a lot of other states that are getting praised for not having the same visible problems, so realistically, they're just better at hiding them. But when every influencer in their selfie sticker out broadcasting these issues to the world, poverty in Los Angeles gets much more attention than poverty in some no-name town in Oklahoma. So yeah, as with a lot of economic crises, it's not as bad as it looks, but it's also something that's not likely to get better anytime soon. Thanks for watching, mate. Bye.